Thanks, Erica. Big thank you to all the fans and kids that came out today. I thought it was a special day at Subaru Park. A big win. Always feels a little different in the afternoon here for sure, but overall the crowd was great. Didn't rain too much. I think it's the first game in a long time that it hasn't rained here with a steady downpour. A little sprinkle, I guess. We'll take that. But overall for the players, a very professional performance. Again, first half I thought, Lod gave us some trouble, finding pockets, getting in behind Jose. We challenged the group at halftime to almost have Jose be able to be free and man mark him and try and cover him because he's such a special player. And like I said before in the middle of the week, for me, one of the most underrated players that our league has. Really, really, really talented guy. And we did a better job in the second half. And I don't want to say, they had some chances for sure. We could have scored a few more goals, but overall 2-0 clean sheet at home is what we're about.
Jim, how's Andre, first of all? And
Yeah.
second of all, the point you just made, how important is it to get that shutout?
Yeah. First with Andre, made some big saves in the first half, on particularly the one on Pookie, where he gets in behind the back line and is a really high-quality striker. Big save by Dre there. I think the collision happens on the one that, if you remember, he comes out and punches. He's a little bit exposed. I think he had some contact with the chest and head area. Just started to feel a little, he described it as lightheaded at the end of the game. In that instance, credit to our medical staff for being, and doctors for being proactive and, doing the right thing. As much as we all know Andre makes us a better team, you have to be safe with head injuries for sure. Oliver stepped in cold and I thought did a great job. That is not an easy thing to do for people that don't maybe understand. Nothing good can happen as a defender or a goalkeeper when you get subbed in like that. And he did a great job of, keeping calm, clearing balls when he had to clear balls, made a save or two, and did a great job. So hopefully it's not too serious. It sounds like Andre, was just wanted to be cautious with it, as did the doctors and medical staff, which I, again, applaud. But I don't think it's anything too severe. I hope it's not, that's for sure. The second part was the clean sheet. That part is huge. I was angry at the goal we gave up in Portland, and I say to the guys all the time, the tiebreakers in the league, how close it is at the end of the season. We all know that can be the difference between hosting a playoff game, making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. Those tiebreakers are huge. So not conceding becomes a big thing with goal differential. Could have scored some more goals today, I thought, especially at the end of the game. But at the same time, 2-0, we'll take it, and we'll move on to the next game.
Jim, what did you make of how they set up? Because it looked like pretty much everyone was, at least 9-10 fielders, pushed up above the center circle.
Yeah.
Very condensed on the right side. And how did you guys kind of see that and approach that with all that space they were giving you on the left?
Yeah, I think what you saw was any time in the first half. I'll rewind. When you scout Minnesota, it's not a crazy, Red Bull press where it's predictable and it's 100 miles an hour every time. They're pretty calculated, and one of the triggers you notice on film is once you cross midfield, they almost go man-to-man against you, and it causes problems. And they're a good team, and they're going to win a lot of games. But what you saw when we had a little composure and a ball switched from Kai all the way to Quinn or to even to Nathan, and then it came back again. Now the distances between the man-to-man marking get a little stretched. There's 10 more yards. So you saw those long diagonals really freed us up. And when you saw Kai get forward in the box, I thought a couple times, you saw Quinn had a great game attacking on that side and just did it with speed. When a team plays almost man-to-man when you cross midfield, somebody has to beat somebody to make the picture change, and when somebody goes by somebody now, it's almost like a domino effect where the next person's late for them, and now you can start to get at them. But for the most part, they were really organized and hard to break down. But you're right, on the big switches and changes, I think we started to open them up, and you saw guys get into the box in wide areas. Could the final crosses be better? For sure. Timing of the runs in the box, better for sure. But I thought we did some good things to break them down.
And then real quick to Jonathan's point about clean sheet, what did you see from Jack and Jacob? It seemed like they were doing every little thing right today.
Yeah, they were connected. Pookie made the one run in behind, and Lod slips them in. That's going to happen against quality opponents. But I thought for the most part, those two were together. They were connected. And one was stepping, the other one was covering. They were good in the air. It helps when Nathan was sharp too. Nathan won a lot of duels today and did a great job on the right side. Kai did a great job on the left. So it's a real complete team effort for sure. But the back four and the goalkeepers deserve it. Goalkeepers plural in this one deserve a lot of credit for keeping the 0.
We'll go 1, 2, and then Tom will be 3.
Joe sort of went into my question in terms of Jack, probably his best game all season,
Yeah.
if not probably even dating back to New England last year. Obviously, you mentioned the professional performance. If you want to even elaborate any further.
Yeah, Elliot, you're talking about? Yeah. Elliot was really solid. Again, I say it all the time, and you guys probably are sick of me saying it. It really always starts with Danny and our 2 strikers. And when they get pressure to the ball, things become predictable. No defenders, no center backs in the world, if you go back to the great AC Milan defenders, Maldini and Baresi, they can't defend anyone when there's no pressure to the ball, right? So now when we're able to get those guys in front of them to do a good job of making things predictable for them, our center backs are as good as any in this league, and we have 3 of them, that can, you could put in at any moment between Damian, Jack, and Jacob. But I thought that they read off each other really well today. The guys in front of them did a good job of making things predictable. Jack got his foot on, I feel like 15 balls today that if he's a split second late, we're in big trouble, and it's a breakaway for them. So he made a lot of big plays. He's very cerebral back there, faster than people realize as well once he gets going with those long legs, and he did a great job for us. So we're going to need all 3 center backs to play. At some point, I'm going to get all 3 of them on the field together, because I think that, especially on the road, will be really tough for teams to break down. But we're very, very fortunate to have Jack, Jacob, and Damian with our group.
Once you put Damien in the mid.
Yeah, Damian can play as a 6. I did learn that, and I did not know that before it happened. I will say that. If you ever want to make 2 blocks of 4 difficult to break down, our 2 center backs with Damian and Jose in the middle, it could be really difficult for teams on the road. So it does give you a different view and a different snapshot. And Damian did that great for 210 minutes, 120, and then 90 against Panama as well. So pretty impressive. That's also why we held him out today, because he had a lot of minutes on those legs.
So for Daniel's goal, two-parter.
Yeah.
Congrats on the win. For Daniel's goal off of the set piece, is that good for showing everybody that yes, Daniel can score goals off of more than just PKs?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Take us through the turnaround from Minnesota's non-goal to Julian's goal. Just real quick turnaround.
Yeah. So their goal was correctly called offsides. It was actually in the first phase. The ball that was hit from Rosales was actually an incredible pass, but it was just offsides. We saw that pretty quickly live. So yes, you're nervous when they go in and it hits the back of the net, but it was pretty clear that one was going to get called back. In terms of Danny's goal, restarts are a big part of what we're about. I use the 3 R's all the time. Whoever wins the red zone, our rest defending, right? How organized are we when the opponent has the ball? And then also restarts. Offensive and defensive restarts. Frank does a great job with our group on them. And for Kai to whip in a good ball, I don't know if it gets touched at the near post, but there was an action there, good hard runs. And Danny has a way of timing it to show up in the box at the right time. So important for Danny to score in the run of play. We all know how great he is at PKs, but I think that'll be good for his confidence going forward. And I know that he wants to score every game.
Jim, just playing off of JD's question, your 4th set piece goal this season. But
Yeah.
last year, a lot of times Kai Wagner's playing that ball into Alec Bedoya and he's flicking it on
Right.
set, but 3 times in this game, it's a low cross in and it's a flick on with his foot. Is that something you guys scouted prior to the game, or is that something credit to the players they saw on the field?
Well, teams scout us too, right? So we have to have some variation. I think you saw Kai hit a couple. If you noticed, he usually hits hard curled balls. He had a couple that were just flat and made it a jumping contest because we had I'll just say a significant height advantage on the set pieces today. So caught them off guard. I think on the first one that was whipped in low. I don't know. I haven't seen it back, but there's enough traffic in the front that it gets through, fortunately for us, and Danny does a great job beating his man to the back post. So good design there. But you have to have variation, otherwise, teams watch us play too, so they try and take away the strengths and weaknesses, and certainly Kai on our restarts is something that is really dangerous for us, and we're lucky to have that dangerous ball whipped into the box. And good teams, score goals off restarts and win these kind of games that maybe wasn't perfect today, but it was a solid, professional, good win.
We're going to do last three here. We'll start with David. We'll go to the middle here and we'll go with John.
Jim, how's it feel to get your first home win of the season, and what are some things you can take away from today going into your next one?
Yeah, look, we always want to win at home. It's weird that this is only our second game at home. It feels a little bit strange, obviously with the Seattle rain out. It's a little different, but I thought that it was a deserved win, and really the important win was the Portland one. The guys that contributed in that one gives confidence for everybody, for the group. Now the guys that are away with the national team recognize they better perform well too, because there's other guys that are here putting pressure on them. Accountability and pressure and players, multiple players playing good in each position is the best thing for any team. I'm going to have hard decisions. That's my job and our staff's job to pick what we think is the right guys for each game. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong, but I think today everybody raised their level because of what happened in Portland. That was a big win, and now hopefully we can get on a run. We're pretty good at home. I always say 10 wins at home guarantees you pretty much the playoffs, and we recognize that, and we want that. We want more than 10, to be honest.
Hey, Jim. Ali Bedoya comes off the bench
Yeah.
and is able to chip in.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about how he's kind of adjusting to his new role, coming off the bench a little bit more, and how he's able to still put his leadership into the team even when he's not starting?
Yeah. The leadership goes. I'll keep using that Portland game. I really love that game. Him putting his arm around Raffanello and helping him through that game, and all the guys are in that spot there. Is an example of what he's about, right? Helping a young player, helping the guy next to him, doing whatever the team needs. He was actually pretty sore from that game on the turf and took an extra day or two to recover. Otherwise, he would have played more minutes today, to be honest. But he's really embraced whatever the group needs. He was even surprised today because I don't want to bore you guys with this, but we actually played a 4-4-2 flat when he went into the game, and Quinny was doing so well at right. I didn't want to put Ali on the right and just throw Quinn up top. At that moment, I just thought it was going well. So we had Danny go as a second striker. We told him, defensively, you got to come and be in your number 10 spot to help with the 2 6s that they have. But when we have the ball, go up and play as a second striker, and we'll be 4 flat and just gets an extra man in the middle who's smart, and Quinny was doing his thing on the right. So we adapted, adjusted. He was caught off guard by even that you're going in, but you're going in the middle because he expected to go in on the right. But again, he takes information, calms us down, draws fouls, wins balls, gets an assist. He's a winner. He's what this club, is really. If I could make the perfect player for what we're about as a club, a guy who's humble, hungry, wants to win everything, and he's a special person and a special player. So, yes, he has embraced the new role, but I don't want to talk about him like he can't be a 90-minute starter, because he still is that and can dominate games like you saw against Portland. But the turf did get him a little bit with some soreness for sure. But it was a great performance again from Ali. Yep.
Jim, you mentioned that 5-4-4-2 just now
Yeah.
that you sort of deployed in Portland because you had to.
Yeah.
Today you did it as a team, maybe a little more because you wanted to. Is that something you want to keep in your back pocket?
Yeah, look, I give my staff credit because I didn't want to do it today. I have to admit, I didn't want to, because at home I always think it's a little conservative to go a little bit deeper, but it wound up working, and it gave us a calmness in the middle part of the field. So Richter, Frank, and Phil kind of said, just stick Ali in the middle, give us 2 6s, him and Jose can share it, and leave Quinny just do his thing on the right. So I trusted them. When it first happened, they almost scored right away, and I was pissed. But that's soccer, and that's the fickleness of this game. But at the end of the day, I'm humble enough to say they were right. It was a great decision, and it helped the team. So it is something we can go to, Jonathan. And I like it on the road a lot, because if you saw, we can be 20 to 25 yards a lot easier from front to back, and guys are in positions to help, and the matchups are clearer, and we're good on the counter out of it. So we'll see as the year goes, but it's good to have multiple formations and options to go to, and based on the different skill set and personnel that we have. So another sneaky, quiet, good game from McGlynn, right? A good game from Quinney, Harriel again. So you can go through the list. Guys are playing at a high level, and make no mistake, it's because if they don't play good, there's other guys that are there to replace them.
Does the width suit you?
The what? The width
Yeah.
in a 4-4-2?
Yeah.
We don't have. We're not like we haven't had a dribbler, a 1v1 guy since Ilsinho. Quinn showed a little bit of that today, even maybe more than I thought when he got isolated and showed a change of speed to go by a guy and turn the corner. Could he get some of the crosses a little better for sure, but he did a great job tonight. So I think when we talk about width, you have to have guys that are 1v1 dribblers, and that's not the most things that we don't have tons of those guys right now, and that's not a knock on anybody. It just is a skill set thing. But I think you saw from Quinn today, and we just kept it that way, and it wound up working today.
God, they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.